Coming up,
Hold on a second though. What is the sauce?
what do this dish, this class, and this scene have in common? You can experience them all in Miami Design District. We'll taste and explore.
And what you don't want is you don't want this to collapse.
Plus, a spine expert shares important treatments. We'll tell you how many steps you actually need in a day and what we know so far about vaccines. It's all today on SoFlo Health. Hello and welcome to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and today we're in the Miami Design District, if you couldn't tell, by the building behind me. And we're going to take you on a little journey today. We'll visit some old friends, make some new ones, and show you how you can get and stay healthy right here in the Miami Design District. We'll start off by visiting an old friend, Dawn of AHANA Yoga. The last time we saw her was maybe 2 years ago with Nicole Mejia, and it feels like 10 years ago, but they've adapted their classes in an incredible way. In fact, it's right around the corner here, so follow me. So, we're at the Paradise Plaza event space here in Miami Design District, and AHANA's been able to do their classes out here so that they can be socially distant in the outdoor air with free-flowing breeze. Everyone is spaced apart. They have masks if they'd like, and they do not have to have them while practicing because of the situation that they've been able to adapt here. And that's just one of the many ways that they have been changing throughout the pandemic. But let's talk to Dawn and find out more.
Squat down, let's go on the exhale.
Here she is, Dawn of AHANA Yoga. We just saw the class out on the terrace. Now we are inside of the studio, which has changed quite a bit. We're nice and socially distanced. We're going to demask for this interview. Dawn, tell me, I can see that a lot has changed, but what has changed for you during COVID-19?
So initially there was the quarantine, and so we went immediately online. So we have a virtual platform called Now AHANA, so you can have classes on demand and live classes. We also took our whole yoga studio outside for the most part. We were using Jungle Plaza for a while, so we did all of our classes outside. We've now moved to Paradise Plaza event space, which has indoor and outdoor availability for people. And then we took down the dividing wall in this studio to make it large enough to have a socially distanced yoga class, which we have 2 inside of the studio, twice a day, and then we have 3 in the event space a day. So we have 5 classes per day.
Yeah, how does the yoga address some people's stress?
There were a lot of things that went on also during the pandemic that there were the elections and there was Black Lives Matter, also obviously coronavirus, and people staying in their houses all day long by themselves with one echo chamber of people can create, a lot of fear in a lot of cases. It's always good when there's emotion to be able to move it out, right? Like if it gets stuck in there, it just creates a lot of anxiety or depression, like self-infliction. But if you can move through these strong feelings, it generally helps to get through them.
Great. Is there anything you'd like to tell anybody out there who's still maybe a little uncertain about taking a class?
The thing that I most relate this whole experience to is when I was pregnant. And everybody wants to tell you what you can do and what you can't do. But really, you know what's best for yourself. If you want to come and be within community and you're still worried and want to be very safe, then we have an outdoor availability that's completely, you could be by yourself with a lot of social distancing.
Dawn, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for supporting us. We appreciate everything, and feel free to reach out to us at any time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Namaste.
Well, it's nice to see that Dawn and AHANA Yoga are doing well during this time. Some other adaptations they're making are an outdoor store. Well, not so much outdoor, but they've let some of this be outside. They're keeping the doors open for as much free-flowing air as possible, and it's good to see that they're doing well. Speaking of COVID and being outdoors, I'm going to go change, and then we're going to give you the update on the latest with the COVID-19 vaccines. With the COVID-19 vaccine finally here, a lot of people have a lot of questions. And when we here at SoFlo Health have a lot of questions, we turn to the CDC. One of the major questions people have about the COVID-19 vaccine is how long will the immunity last? And according to the CDC, it's still too early to tell how long immunity lasts. One other concern people have about the vaccine is that it might contain eggs like many other vaccines. Well, the good news is that there are no eggs, preservatives, or latex in the COVID-19 vaccine, so if that's something that bothers you, you'll be safe. And of course, probably the most popular question people have about the vaccine is, when is it my turn to get one? And the answer from the CDC is, well, that's up to your local State Department, because the CDC makes recommendations as far as procedures around COVID-19, but it's up to each individual state to distribute it. So what does that mean for you? It means you should go to miami-dade.gov or browardcovidvaccine.com to find out more information on how exactly you can sign up in case you or a loved one is looking to do so. In the meantime, still wear a mask, socially distance, wash your hands, and do everything we've been doing thus far. Stay close for a taste of this and a visit to Broward Spine Institute after the break.
Focusing on you from your team of experts at Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, South Florida's only National Cancer Institute designated cancer center.
Meet Dr. Mikhail Sekaris, the new Chief of Hematology and a world-renowned leukemia specialist now treating patients at Sylvester.
We have new combinations of therapies that we're trying, and most importantly, we have the latest and greatest clinical trials that are looking at the treatments that will become the standards even years from now. We're able to offer that to patients today.
Let's talk about people who are suffering from some sort of blood disorder now complicated by the COVID-19 pandemic.
So people who have blood disorders, particularly blood cancers, are at a much higher risk of not only getting very sick from the virus, but also of potentially even dying. So they're just acutely aware of this. They avoid enclosed spaces, even if they're people who've been vaccinated, because people who've been vaccinated can still carry the virus and pass it on to somebody else.
New treatments for leukemia have significantly increased survival in the past decades.
And that's a testimony to advances in therapy for patients, and also to specialty centers like Sylvester, where you can get those advances in therapies, and also dedicated inpatient units to treat people with these very rare cancer diagnoses.
Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and we're in Miami Design District on our way to get something to eat. Earlier, we went to AHANA Yoga and started our day with some yoga. We gave you a COVID update, and now it's time to get something to eat right here at Mia Market. Come on inside.
We're in Mia Market at FORETTE. I'm Chef Tristan.
I'm Chef Karen.
Today we're doing rotisserie chicken with a jus.
And we're making a fourette salad and a broccolini with a charred romesco sauce.
We're trying to take all the techniques and the things that we've done over the years, bring it to a setting like Mia Market where it's, it's a market setting, but we're taking all those techniques, all the training that we have, and trying to just put out really good food for people.
We do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
We have French techniques that we put into everything that we do. Just from everywhere we've worked. We ferment things, we take traditional French techniques and cooking our chicken, brining everything. It's just a whole process. Everything's a process, everything takes time, and it's a lot of love that goes into everything that we make.
Pretty much straightforward, everything is homemade, everything's made here.
From dressings to sauces,
yeah.
We make everything in-house.
We're charring some broccolini. We're warming up the romesco sauce that we make.
Right now I'm putting the sauce on the plate. The charred romesco sauce with the Fresno peppers.
So after we break down our chicken, it gets warmed up in a little bit of chicken stock, and then it gets ready for plating.
Finish it with some Maldon salt, lemon juice.
We take all the leftover carcasses and we make a chicken stock out of it. And then we bring that chicken stock all the way down until it gets this almost caramel-like flavor.
Then we finish it with some fresh herbs, fresh cut chives, some chervil.
Here's your finished dishes, the roasted chicken, the broccolini,
and your
fourette salad. Take a seat and we will bring it to you.
Here we are at the table now. I'm gonna get a little bit of a taste of everything here. You know, we just came from AHANA yoga, so this is a great way to refuel yourself after you've burned up some energy. Now, the taste test. Wow. That is some of the best rotisserie chicken I've ever had.
Awesome.
And is it rotisserie?
Yes.
It tastes so much more flavorful than that.
It goes through this whole brining process where we smoke herbs and we smoke hay. It brines for about 2 days.
Right.
And then we hang them. So they hang for like 3 days? Yeah. So the skin gets a little crispy, the meat stays juicy.
Hold on a second though. What is the sauce?
It's a charred romesco sauce. So we ferment Fresnos for about a week, and then we char like bell peppers, tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes actually. Char everything, get like all that caramelized flavor, and then we make a puree out of that with the Fresno peppers.
Wow.
So probably like that weird like flavor is probably Fresnos.
Wow, I mean, I'm telling you, it's packed full of flavor, and what's crazy to me is that everything here is fairly healthy. In fact, pretty darn healthy, especially if you're somebody that's, you know, burning up some energy here in Miami Design District. Maybe you went for a workout, a yoga class, or you just want a healthy lunch. So I gotta say thank you so very much for sharing all this with us, sharing your story, and welcome to Miami.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back pain is something that affects many of us. However, some situations are more severe than others. That's why we're headed to Broward Spine Institute to meet with Dr. Stauber and Dr. Fernandez to find out more about compression fractures and, more importantly, how to resolve them. We're at Broward Spine Institute, and I'm joined by Dr. Marshall Stauber, who asked me to call him Marshall. So, Marshall, now that we're nice and socially distant, let's go ahead and take our masks off and have our conversation. What is a compression fracture, and how does it differ, say, from regular fracture?
The major difference between compression fractures in age groups are the amount of trauma that's required. So in the older age group, very little trauma is required. Just bending over to change your bedding, minor exercising, minor falls can result in a compression fracture, in contrast to a younger individual who requires heavy trauma to sustain a fracture. The first thing to look at is a normal bone. Would look something like this, a normal vertebrae.
Okay.
It's very thick and hard to break. This would be a younger individual. As we age, we tend to lose our bone, and it becomes osteoporotic.
And what do we see here on the screen?
Here's a normal vertebrae, which looks like a square.
Okay.
And you can see the one below it, and actually the one below it as well, is compressed, almost like a marshmallow that's been squished. And what you don't want is you don't want this to collapse any further. This is about as much as you want to see it collapse before they start bending over.
Now the big question is, how do you solve the problem?
Essentially what we do is under local anesthesia, we insert either a curved cannula into the bone or a cannula that has a balloon on the end of it. Through these cannulas, we're able to insert this liquid cement. It's a special bone cement that we've been using in the spine for over 50 years. It's very safe, and it essentially fills the gap of the fractures, essentially like an internal cast. And within 15 to 20 minutes, it hardens and stabilizes the fracture, usually reducing pain that day by 50 to 70%.
As a pain specialist, my goal is not to cause pain. I'm here to treat the pain, and I don't do that in a painful way. We do the procedure using local anesthesia. We do it here in our practice. We use a small needle-like device that goes through the skin to deliver cement into that fracture, fix and stabilize the fracture, and eliminate the pain. So it's pretty amazing, but as soon as they get off the table, they can tell the difference.
To think that something that could be so chronic and so difficult for a person to have to deal with can be solved so quickly and simply, it's incredible.
It's really an impressive procedure. I've been lucky to be doing this for the last 20 years. I've done over 3,000 of them, and I can honestly say this is a game changer for patients with fractures.
Marshall, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Ante.
Make sure to come back quick and bring your mask. We're headed back into Mia Market. We're going to taste some Ruby Dee's, which is some good, healthy food. Plus, we'll go for a walk and explore more of Miami Design District. It's all when SoFlo Health returns. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and we are still here in Miami Design District, just by Palm Court. In fact, we're going back inside to Mia Market. Earlier, we went to FORETTE, and now it's time for some delicious Ruby D's.
I'm Daniel Roy, I'm the executive chef at Ruby D's, and we're here at the Mia Market in the Design District. So here, the first dish we're gonna do is a salt roasted beet salad. So right here we have the roasted beet puree. Then we'll start with our greens. These greens are local, so they're grown by Box Greens, and they're about 5 minutes from here. That's where their farm is. We have some golden beets, some red beets. Strawberries add another note of sweetness for us. So for me, I'm a big fan of lime and beets. So we do a little lime zest, a little acid. So everything we do here is gonna have acid, texture, and spice. So the texture is gonna be from the walnuts. And like we said, the acid would be the limes, the lime zest. And there's a little bit of spice in the dressing. So that's literally it. That's our first dish. So here we have the turkey sandwich that we do. So we make the turkey in-house. You know, we brine it, we cook it, we slice it, we do everything here local. So here we make our own aioli, and then we chop fresh herbs into it, basil, parsley. So we have the turkey here, we do some Swiss cheese, some bacon, like I said, the local arugula. I think when you read turkey sandwich on the menu, you're kind of like, oh, you know, whatever. But when you have it, you're like, wow, it's got a lot of flavor going on. Because like I said, we make it in-house. Yeah, I'll bring this to the table and we'll start eating.
Thank you so much for plating this all for us. I'm gonna take my mask off. You may join me.
Yeah, no problem.
So I'll get a little bite out of here. Now tell me, you know, how has the pandemic affected you? And what encouragement do you have for those out there?
You know, it's had its ups and downs, I think, like anybody else. But, you know, I made a choice, like, early on to take advantage of it. You know, I changed, like, some eating habits and just, like, my sleeping habits and just changed little things because as a chef, like, I've never had this much time off in my life.
Right.
Like, ever. And even though from a financial perspective, like, everybody's been hard, it's getting back better and it's getting there, you know. I don't know what there will end up looking like, but at least we're on the way, you know, and that's a big thing in itself, so.
Well, with food like this, I think you're gonna do all right. That is absolutely delicious. It's really light. It's got all of the different flavors and textures you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
When you're creating something for the Design District, like we said today, we're featuring the health and lifestyle about the whole area. What do you have in mind?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I have to be health conscious about it, you know? Like, I don't think a cream-based sauce for something is necessarily gonna be the best thing here, you know? So we went with something that's light, refreshing, not a lot of fats or just, you know, like not heavy. Like we do have a steak sandwich, you know, Wagyu picanha to kind of accommodate that guest, but as you see, most of the stuff is more light, refreshing.
I'm gonna try and navigate this here. It means
it's a good one.
Wow. Packed full of flavor, different.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, a half would easily get you through lunch.
Well, I'd eat the whole thing. Any of these, you can come and work out, be shopping. It's nice and light, and I think that's what we want to promote here on SoFlo Health, is that you don't bog yourself down throughout the day. There's plenty of options here at the market, and you're certainly supplying a lot of that.
We even have a sushi-grade salmon, a Faroe Islands, so you can even add like a salmon if you had like a hard workout and you really need to replace that protein. Very versatile.
Is there anything else you'd like to share for our viewers out there?
No, it's just thank you for having us, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, and this is delicious. I'm gonna keep getting in here.
Awesome, enjoy.
After a great meal, or two in our case, at Mia Market, it's a good idea to go for a walk. In fact, it's always a good idea to go for a walk. And whether you do that here in Miami Design District, where it's absolutely beautiful everywhere you look, or in your local neighborhood, you should do it. In fact, there's some great benefits. Here they are. Over the years, we've heard 10,000 steps a day are what you should shoot for to live a healthier lifestyle. And that's probably true, but the good news is you don't need exactly 10,000 steps. In fact, you can get that health benefit with a lot less, 4,400 steps to be exact. With 4,400 steps, you can get that done in a few 10-minute intervals throughout the day, whereas with 10,000 steps, it could take you up to an hour and a half to get all of those in. Well, today we're going to show you how you can get all of those in, the different ways you can get the steps in, and the health benefits for you. Because remember, during COVID especially, we need to get moving. Some of the benefits to going for a walk are lowering your body fat, increasing your metabolism, lowering cholesterol, and so much more. It's also nice to just get outside and take a mental break. To really reap the benefits of the walk, you should aim for going for 3 10-minute-ish walks a day. And as you get better and used to that, you want to push it a little more. You can do 15-minute walks for 3 sessions a day, or more if you'd like. The great things about walks is that you can break it up and you can also get those steps in throughout the day at different places. Well, say you're going to the mall later today. That counts as a walk, especially if you're at Sawgrass Mills Mall or another very large place like Dolphin Mall where you're going to be getting a lot of steps in. You can also park a little bit farther than you normally do from the locations that you are headed to while running errands. Or you can just go for a walk. You can get those steps in however you need to, but you should shoot for about 30 minutes of activity each day, or 45 if you've got the time and you're looking to achieve a little more. You don't have to go for a 10,000 step walk right this second, or if your counter at the end of the day only says 8,000, that you've got to go run out and get 2,000 more. It's more important that you choose something that you can stick to and you make it enjoyable. We've talked about this with our 2021 goals and New Year's resolutions, that you make it easy on yourself and you stick to it, because that's how you get the results. It's a little bit that adds up over time. It's not going for a 10,000 step walk today and then doing nothing tomorrow. Make it even easier on yourself to stick to it and be consistent by inviting your friends along. Go for a walk with friends or family. Especially right now during the pandemic, everyone wants to get together, but you can do that socially distanced and outside. And it's a way that we can connect, stay safe, and be working on our health. You could also make a phone call and go for a walk on the phone and catch up with an old friend that's out of town. There's many different ways to customize the walk, and what I'm telling you here is nothing new, but it's just a good reminder so that when you're thinking, geez, I want to get some activity, but I don't necessarily want to go to the gym because I'm not ready to head out there just yet, or I don't really know what I could do to get in better shape, you can go for a walk, and you can make it easier on yourself. Now add the accountability and the consistency and watch the results roll in. What a day it's been here at Miami Design District. We're wrapping it up in probably the most famous part of Miami Design District, and that's Palm Court. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie. We did yoga, we've had some great food, and we've walked around and enjoyed the beautiful weather and scenery here at Miami Design District. And we hope that you enjoy it for yourself. As always, you can watch previous episodes of SoFlo Health on SoFloHealth.com. You can follow us using @SoFloHealth to share with us what you're doing to stay healthy. And until next week, it's goodbye, good health, and pretty good design too. Next week on SoFlo Health, we'll show you 2 ways to prepare this heart-healthy breakfast, how to make your very own first aid kit in a pinch, and how to prevent eye strain. We'll see you then.